And continuing sewers between sector 6 and 7, and sector 7's time is running out. Mostly because Shinra is led by dudes who don't seem to have any kind of pragmatic ideas about thinking about anything. That burning about a big chunk of your own city just to remove an annoyance isn't so economically efficient, even if you could have some sort of deniability in your on your disposal. These benches are quite comfortable. Yeah, just watch while man sulks. He has right to do some sulking. And I could say that the amount of supplies you actually go through in this game is quite a lot. So you could say that the difficulty goes is much more reminiscent to the old older Final Fantasy games, not the more modern ones. Where might this lead?
Don't hold back.
Oh well, there was a pest in there. Well,
worked up a good sweat.
Well, there was of course some nice stuff to find, so it wasn't a completely pointless trip. But seeing that I've something like amount of expansion, this game feels to be something like a 30 hours long, which in a sense, and probably less if you really are speedrunning and of course know exactly what to do. It's probably less, but about 30 hours would be something like the length of the original one, and they made that part which in original took, despite just about the speed, it might have taken a couple of hours of gameplay to get through. So you could say that the amount of game in this has grown to about 10 times, which might be something like said to be order of magnitude from the
Best do it right.
order of magnitude from the original one. Let's just wear that bloody.
That's that.
Now you're dead,
No
cockroach.
surprises there.
And of course, knowing that the super is also expanded. Only you could say that and I probably said before, the graphical style, despite of course being so much vastly improved technically, does have that little quirk of not making places feel as huge as they were as in the original one. Yuri kept the camera angles much further, making all those landscapes appear much larger. Of course, how fast Cloud moves also might have something to do with the matter. But I'm gonna slice up all these things just because this is one of those games where, as much as I can say about the difficulty, is that more levels is only good thing. As in, when you are more powerful, that being more powerful is nothing but a good thing for you to be. It does not have a practical, any kind of drawback of like enemies scaling. Not all Final Fantasy games are like that. Final Fantasy VIII had scaling enemies. But this one, I think, at least the original one didn't have, so if you were a big one with grinding, you could become very strong, and of course, at the max levels what you were able to achieve in that game, you were something like a war god capable of eating Sephiroth for lunch. And not just eating Sephiroth for lunch, meaning eating him completely out of existence. And the more materials different. The material system is bit different from the original one. Not much, but a bit. Okay. Where the hell do I go? Not here. Yeah, these tunnels are a bit much more complicated than they used to be. And of course, knowing that I'm seeing them from a completely different angle makes them even more so. I just cannot look them from the nice top-down view, which would tell me quite exactly where to go and how to go. Nope, I'm seeing them much nearer. And of course, while I'm at it, I also get to admire this absolutely huge or humongous supersized sword Cloud carries. And of course, in the original one, you went through the Midgard with just the same weapon of Cloud, and you never actually could get rid of it, mostly because hey, that's Cloud's weapon. Now time to go.
Look, that must be the way out.
I wonder. There must be some way we can lower the water level.
There has to be. There is most likely switch somewhere. And of course, in the original one, there was no any kind of puzzle about water level. There was just few rooms of sewer, and then few rooms of actually just two, but quite big rooms of.
Guys, check it out. Seventh Heaven's water tank has something similar. I'm betting we can use this to control the sewage level.
Hey, Cloud. You want to give it a try?
This ought to drain the water. Right?
Yeah, and I do. And I still do say that the graphical style in this is really good. It reaches. It's in a nice.
No luck?
Must be busted.
A red light indicates a blockage, apparently. We can use the hand pump to clear the blockage. Sounds about right. I remember having to do this at the bar before.
All right. I'll...
Aerith, you mind giving me a hand? Cloud, you stay put. Keep an eye out for more red lights.
Wait, I'm not sure...
Trust me, this is the best way to handle it. We'll be back soon.
Well, yeah. And of course, there's some little bit of party splitting just to make it so that the so it makes it more it's not just one character moving, it's much more characters doing things.
More industrial?
Open the valve, pump and close the valve, and it has to be within the red ones. Oh!
Try to stay in sync.
Damn.
Keep calm.
Could have gone
Alright.
better.
How in hell is this? Is this some sort of rhythmic thing? Yeah, it has to be some sort of rhythmic thing, and I have to try it. This is bloody annoying.
Try to stay in sync. Spectacular!
Yeah, finally figured it out. Bloody annoying. I have to get the red bar to grow bigger, and then when it goes to flip out, press the button. More struggling. Now I got all the
I
three.
think that did it.
Wonderful.
Damn,
Okay, let's head
it wasn't it wasn't so
Probably getting
intuitive
worried.
to actually get it done. But at least I got that done. Unplugging the controller and all that. Let's just see what's this up. Well, I still find this fashion of way too small jackets quite bizarre. And I really hope that it's not that big ugly thing which appearing to rematch. And I'm quite certain that those big horrifying monsters which appeared quite much at the beginning, or will say more like ghost-like things which harassed Aerith at the beginning, I am certain that they will show up at the train graveyard. Oh, you!
Get ready. Floppy.
Apparently those things are able to quite strongly punch. Oh, and I got transformed into a frog. And damn it. Doesn't look too good. Ouch.
Just go away!
They are not too pleasant.
It's not over yet.
I'll show you what I can do.
Gotta be smart.
Get him! I'm feeling
All set.
weak.
Damn, that was quite dangerous
Take pride in that.
encounter. But lucky for me, the healing chair was quite near, so I'll be taking a big walk to that one just to recover myself and save some resources. The recovery trip, although it wasn't much of a, it was quite much longer than I remembered, but then again these landscapes do tend to be a bit of a confusing in their layout, so of course it would not be as easy as it, and these Sahajins are actually quite dangerous, so I gotta do my best to wail them out of existence with the nicest, most efficient ways. Yep, but they went down. Oh, actually another already. Nice tackle, Tifa. I'd say almost perfect tackle. Hit points look too good, nothing too difficult about that. But you could say that in this far,
Hope the pillar's not much further.
more of these. Triple slash them.
That's it!
Oh, there's 3 of them. Triple slash that one, and of course
Take it from here.
I got it. Gotta be smart.
Whatever.
overpower that bastard. Oh, damn it.
So that's the way it's gonna be, huh?
Yeah, even the basic enemies can be quite dangerous if they manage to get the
You jittery?
do nasty more unpleasantly to you. I'm trying to focus to get.
Guess it was.
Oh damn it!
Thought I had you covered. Let's do this.
Come on.
That's wrong. So long.
Chopped you up apart, and
See ya.
I'm gonna chop you apart as well. Damn. Three basic enemies and it almost killed my own team. Should tell something about
I'll go on ahead and secure the exit.
how powerful the basic enemies in this game are, which is a lot. Boss fight.
Looks like they're hungry for more.
We're not delicious. Not even a little bit.
Get going.
Now,
Okay.
You too.
but there's too many of them.
Not for me.
Hurry.
Yes, there is too many for you too as well.
Last warning. Back off or die.
Actually, that kind of numbers would have easily wiped the crew out.
Come on!
But I got out of them, and it's time to enter the train graveyard. Yeah, got through the sewers. Not the most pleasant trip to do, especially with this increased level of difficulty. But I think I also managed to loot all the handy stuff from there. Well, there's a rest spot, luckily. And it's dark.
Understood. The avalanche mission's been approved. We ought to proceed as planned.
This is bullshit. What the hell are they thinking?
Threats to public order are to be summarily put down. This is what we've always done.
Summarily put down. Guess it's a little late to grow a conscience.
More characterization to the Turks. Even they don't like that kind of order, which means that just emphasizes how evil
We'll make
man
it in
Mr. President Shinra is. And Heidegger. I still find it quite creepy that they gave Tifa those red eyes. They're kind of creepy. And well, Reno had a moment of understanding, but then again he figured out it's too late. No need to bother to get yourself a fancy conscience if it just doesn't work anymore with you. But one of these is more or less completely necessary to buy. But the train graveyard place.
We could get lost in here.
This is the train graveyard, all right. A real treasure trove of scrap. Sector 7 should be just past that large maintenance facility over there. I vote we stay in the light so we can see where we're going.
Dark, dark everywhere.
That it?
I'm certain that train graveyard also has some sort of ghosts. But it's interesting to know that basically this Final Fantasy 7 doesn't have much of.
Kinda creepy. People don't come around here often. And not just because of the monsters, but because of the stories.
What kind?
Everyone seems to think that the train graveyard is haunted. Those who lose their way out there in the dark of night will never, ever find their way back home again.
Is that right?
I mean, it's not like I think it's true or anything. But you know, it's just...
Well, that place makes those claims very plausible, feel very plausible indeed. And as much as I can tell, these kind of train yards and that kind of structures can be quite spooky. They of course there being all these tracks and all that
I don't think so.
makes them the ground uneven, so falling over is very likely, and of course there's train cars and all that.
That's a win.
They are not the most, you could say, friendly appearing places of the world. So it ain't completely weird why they would be considered haunted, and it's real nice that the other group also remains with you, so it becomes, so it's not just a plot point that whenever the group has to be made different, it would be so. No, they all three are going. Mithril rod, that's a weapon to Aerith. Let's equip them as well. Leather bracer, no, it's the studded bracer instead. And to Aerith, it's everything gets weaker except magic attack, but that grows a lot. So there's nothing wrong with that. Still getting forward, and this is quite a spooky place. It is not as, when you look at the but as I'm now watching the train graveyard from much different perspective, I can now learn how actually spooky place it is, and how in a sense difficult to navigate it would be. But the gameplay wise, this is not actually, it's much more.
Guys, what was that?
And I'm quite certain there is some sort of ghost or thing around here. They're probably expanding it quite a lot. Oh. Couple of weird critters.
Allow me. No holding back.
Some sort of weird.
Floppy.
Not seeing any ghosts, but I'm seeing pests around here. What the hell is this? Oh, damn it! They are.
Here goes. Here it comes.
I think I just heard a little kid. Did you guys hear it too?
Why would there be kids out here this late?
What?
It might be something that about the most horrifying thing is that it would be it would be a monster, and it has learned that mimicking voices like children screaming attracts people to investigate, and then it can catch and eat people. It's very spooky, but it has sometimes shown up as in monsters mimicking people's calls of people, most likely cries of help or something like that, as a lure. Hell, some people use some kind of real perils actually have used it in real life. But a great example is in the Silence of the Lambs, where Buffalo Bill lures the main victim of the main movie as pretending to be injured and then not being injured and attacking with surprise. So yeah, using lures especially is efficient tactic. And they use different music than the one which is the actual. Oh, that's bad. That's like.
Right behind you.
That's something like an ultraviolet imagery. Were rats are not dangerous at all, they're just pests. But those Cripshays are not just pests, they can be quite annoying. They are not harmless. But well, it's still interesting to notice that the stories of the Midgard portion of Final Fantasy VII, which I think is this first episode. It's not the first time the episodic game has been made, but I think this might be the first time episodic game has been made with this kind of scale. It's usually been that the episodes have been much smaller than this one, but in this one they made it so instead of like you could say that the basic episodic game is something like a television series or a short TV show. But this one would be more like a series of movies, like in some Star Wars. Several movies with idea to make a coherent story out of role, but instead of being television series which follow different manners of, you could say, narrative chunks. But there's material. Let's go and grab it first and then end the episode right here. And I hope there's not anything really unpleasant appearing here. Hit point up material. And I really wonder, once this goes, do they make it something like a complete new game on a box set, in a box and everything like that? And I do hope that they continued work right after they got this done and published. Obviously got this done and went into more into the publishing part, and then continued to expand. Or are the following parts to be more like DLC to this one, which I find quite implausible, seeing that how bloody huge these chunks are in this game. Hell, this game had 2 discs on it, and which in PlayStation 4 era is more or less unknowable. That is some kind of children's sound. Yeah, Train Graveyard is no longer sad, it's now become quite spooky.
Still in one piece here too. Guys?
Seriously?
Come on, huh? Well, that's inviting.
Yeah, it is, but it's still quite spooky where the hell it would come. And scientific trickery would be explanation would be something like ultraviolet sensitive lights and all that paints, but and ultraviolet lights. But I guess it's time to end this episode right here before going further to this place. See you next time. See ya.